You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.
This would be a massive move for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you also do me a huge favor by also liking today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. So, Bears fans, we have to talk about this because Ryan Poles has filled a lot of needs the past couple of years along the Chicago Bears roster and has really turned the Chicago Bears football team into something special, something that us Bears fans can truly be proud of. But when you look at the defensive line, it can still use a lot of help, especially along the interior of that defensive line. And the Bears could realistically make this elite trade to land this defensive star to their Chicago Bears defense. Per Jeremy Fowler, league executives now believe that the Commanders will have to consider trading Jonathan Allen sooner or later. And Bears fans, first and foremost, Jonathan freaking Allen is an absolute monster and has been for a long time in the National Football League. Jonathan Allen would be a really intriguing option for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. First and foremost, when you look at Jonathan Allen, he's 29 years old. He does turn 30 in January. He has been an interior game wrecker for Washington for the last 7 seasons, making an impact against both the pass and the run. He can play that 3 technique, so he would fill a massive need along this Matt Eberflus-led Chicago Bears defense. So that is obviously a plus. In 2023, he had 5.5 sacks, 53 tackles, 30 quarterback hurries, 13 QB hits, and 49 total pressures. He makes a living in the offensive backfield. Once again, Jonathan Allen is a beast. Jonathan Allen is an absolute game wrecker in the National Football League. And he has been a consistent force for the Washington Commanders defensive line the last 7 seasons. The last 3 seasons, he has compiled 22 sacks, 180 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. So once again, consistency has been huge for a guy like Jonathan Allen, has been a consistent force for the Washington Commanders defensive line. And Bears fans, my main question to you guys on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic is simply this. Is Jonathan Allen the missing piece for this Chicago Bears football team? And personally, I certainly think so. I would personally give the Washington Commanders a call if Jonathan Allen is actually on their trade block. For starters, Bears fans, the only reason why we're even talking about a possible trade for Jonathan Allen, because he's kind of lost in the shuffle right now. Of course, they just paid Daron Payne to a massive contract extension, and then they go out and draft star defensive tackle out of Illinois, Johnny Newton, in the 2nd round in the 2024 NFL draft. So now there's a lot of NFL executives thinking that the Washington Commanders may actually put Jonathan Allen on the trade block. I know he has 2 years left on his deal. They may want to just see what they can get out of a guy like Jonathan Allen, since they do have kind of a crowded defensive tackle room there in Washington. And to me, Bears fans, I would definitely be curious if Washington is actually going to put Jonathan Allen on the trade block. Bears do have a massive need for a game wrecker at that 3 technique position. We need a guy that's able to create more interior pressure. You have to understand that that is a huge necessity for a Matt Eberflus-led defense to really allow this defense to actually blossom. We did see a lot more pressure when we added a guy like Montez Sweat, but the Bears still record a 31st ranked 30 QB takedown last season. So even though it did improve with Montez Sweat, the Bears still have a lot of work to do on the interior defensive line to make sure we are generating enough pressure, to make sure that we are constantly wreaking havoc in the backfield next season. And to me, having both Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen on the same Bears defensive line would be absolutely ridiculous. So personally, Bears fans, I absolutely love the idea of adding a guy like Jonathan Allen. He would help create that interior pressure, giving the Chicago Bears defensive line a stronger pass rush in this upcoming season. And of course, you have to look at the pros and cons. And when you look at the cons, you have to look at the money, and you have to look at the draft capital that the Chicago Bears would actually have to give up in order to land a guy like Jonathan Allen. Like I mentioned, Allen does have 2 years left on his contract, and he carries a cap hit of $21.4 million next season and then $23 million in 2025. And that is a major cap hit for the Chicago Bears, especially considering that Ryan Poles has committed significant money to the defense already. For example, paid Tremaine Edmonds $72 million overall. Montez Sweat got a $98 million contract. And then recently, Jalen Johnson just scored a $76 million contract as well. So the question then becomes, can the Chicago Bears actually afford a guy like Jonathan Allen? And I know, even though he's 29, pushing 30, I think he is looking for a contract extension. I think he wants to make a little bit more money because, once again, he has been consistent. He has been a game wrecker for a long time, and the stats are the proof in the pudding. So I know he's going to be looking for a contract extension. And then when you look at the draft capital, obviously the Bears are an intriguing trade option for the Washington Commanders because they do have 2 second-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. I can tell you right now that the Chicago Bears are not going to give up their first-round pick for Jonathan Allen for the reasons that he's 29 years old, about to turn 30 years old, and we would have to give him a contract extension. So I think maybe the Commanders may ask for maybe one or even both of our 2025 second-round picks. And to me, I know some people may say, oh, that's kind of like too hefty of a price to go get a guy that's 29 years old. Why not just take one of those second-round picks next year, or maybe even the first-round pick next year, and get the best defensive tackle in the 2025 NFL Draft? And you can also look at that options. That's why there are pros and cons to this scenario of the Chicago Bears actually possibly landing a guy like Jonathan Allen. Here's how I look at it, Bears fans. When I look at the Chicago Bears roster and what Ryan Poles has done to put the Chicago Bears in a good situation to possibly compete not only in the NFC North, but possibly make the playoffs as soon as next year, that is the reason why we drafted Caleb Williams. If we feel like he's the guy from year one or year two that can compete at a high level and get the Chicago Bears over that hump, maybe you should go get that missing piece in Jonathan Allen. Once again, our main goal, or Ryan Poles' main goal of all of this, is to surround Caleb Williams with as much weapons as possible. He's already done an amazing job surrounding Caleb Williams with weapons on the offensive side of the football, but the defensive side of the football is just as important. And to me, if Jonathan Allen, even though he is 29 years old, about to turn 30 in January, if Jonathan Allen is that missing piece for the Chicago Bears defense that can help the Chicago Bears win right now, then I wouldn't mind Ryan Poles trading away maybe 2 second-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft in order to land a guy that's going to help us compete right now. Once again, every NFL general manager's dream, organization's dream, is to win a Super Bowl on a rookie contract. If they feel like Caleb Williams is that guy that can possibly get the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl in the next couple of years on his rookie contract, these are the type of moves that you make. I know it would be hefty, giving up 2 second-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft to pay those cap hits, right? It will be massive for the Chicago Bears in terms of what they would have to pay him and what they would possibly have to give up in terms of draft capital. But this guy is a game changer for a defense. And you have to think that this Chicago Bears defense already has the potential to be top 10 without Jonathan Allen. So now you add Jonathan Allen into the fold with Montez Sweat, with the linebackers we have, with the secondary that we have, right? So once you generate more of a pass rush, that will make our secondary even better. That will make our linebackers even better. That will make the entirety of the Chicago Bears more elite just by adding a dominant, game-wrecking 3 technique in a guy like Jonathan Allen. And once again, I understand there may be some concerns about the age, the money that you have to pay him. But once again, if you feel like you are in a window to compete now, if you feel like you're in a window to go out there and maybe push to win a championship, I know that may sound crazy because we haven't seen them play yet. But if you feel that that's the right move, right? You feel like Caleb Williams can get you to that point in a couple of years on his rookie contract, these are the type of bold moves that you make for your football team to give you the best chance to win the biggest game in the NFL stage. So overall, Bears fans, I would definitely give the Washington Commanders a call if they do, in fact, put Jonathan Allen on the trade block. I feel like this would make the Chicago Bears defense elite. I think we already have a top 10 defense going into next season. So adding a guy like Jonathan Allen would just be absolutely ridiculous. And I think this would be the final piece to the puzzle to really give us that jolt to not only compete for the NFC North, but to hopefully make some noise if we can make the playoffs as well. So I am definitely on board for Ryan Poles making this aggressive move to go get a guy like Jonathan Allen and completing the Chicago Bears defense. So before I let you guys go, Bears fans, let me ask you guys this. If Jonathan Allen does in fact hit the trade block, would you guys be okay with Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears trading for Jonathan Allen and bringing him here to Chicago? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.